into the, you are now tuned into the, you are now tuned into the Fraudcast.
What can we say?
Oh, we can say whatever the fuck we want to say.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because it's batshit crazy. The whole season is just nuts.
Everything's batshit crazy. Hi, and welcome to the Fraudcast. So this is our Christmas week episode. And as luck would have it, Hanekawa is out sick. She does not have the rona, but she has the thing where you can't talk. What's that called?
Laryngitis?
Yes, that. So she has a thing where she can't talk. She has no voice. So that makes bad for podcast hosting. So I wrangled in a guest host, and this is my best friend of 30 years, who's also a 90-day super fan. And her name is Larisa, not to be confused with Colt's Larissa. Colty's Larisa. So Larisa is going to join me, and she's a super fan, and we are going to be talking about the new season of Before the 90 Days. We've had 2 episodes so far, and this shit is batshit crazy, and I'm here for every second of it.
God, aren't you lucky I don't have laryngitis? Maybe after about 10 minutes, you're going to wish I did.
Oh my God. Like, so let's start with the season. So let's start with,
where do we start?
Where
How the hell? I mean, it's just, it's like an avalanche. The snowball gets bigger the further it rolls down the hill. Are you
Which
kidding
crazy do we want to start with? Let's start with what's her name? The woman who is dating international superstar rap sensation.
God help me.
So we have what's her name? What's her real name?
Kim.
That's it. Kim, who is says Usman is her soulmate, but then when the producers push her, she says, "Oh yeah, well, we're not really actually dating." You know, he says,
"Yeah."
So we start to get the real story of what's happening here. So what we know about Kim is that she lives in San Diego. She's got a mouth hole situation going on where she needs some like dental orthodontic work, but whatever. As far as I know, she has all 10 toes, so at least she's got a one up on baby girl visa there. However, what is interesting, the lengths that TLC goes through to not mention baby girl visa at all, right? Like, I know they cut ties with her after all of her problematic racist behavior. So they completely cut ties with her. So that's why they're not, even blur her face out when they're showing her and talking about her as this ex-wife, as if it's not somebody we saw on our TV screens like
exactly
ago. And the other thing that we know about Kim, she's got an affinity for Michael Jackson.
Oh, God,
and she has a tattoo with her own handwriting saying "My Michael," and she has his hat. Now, I'm not gonna I want to say I'm not going to be judgmental about someone's like weird fandom, but I'm going to be judgmental about her
come
fandom.
on. We can't not be. Okay. This is like weird. Okay. This is like not even in the stratosphere of, okay, I've got a mad crazy crush on Matthew McConaughey or somebody. This is like really weird. And you know, I mean, I've been to Nigeria, and I can 100% tell you he wants to be a superstar in America. And the only way he's going to get there is on the arm of an American woman. And the only American women crazy enough to do this are the ones desperate enough to believe that Usman is going to find her attractive, you know?
That's the other this is the other awesome thing about Larisa, or Father Larisa, as she got ordained the night before my wedding because we almost didn't have someone to marry us, so she got ordained.
I pull up in the driveway with bridesmaid dress nightmare in my backseat, and you tell me our minister isn't going to show up. I don't even know if we're going to have a wedding, and I say, "Oh, just get ordained. It's cool. We got this.
Anyway, so she's Father Larisa.
So I can baptize, I can marry, and I can marry people now.
You have traveled the world extensively. So
Yes.
you've been to like all of these places that these
Yep.
people on the show have been, which makes you fabulous to talk this over with, because you actually know all these things. Now, when you were in Nigeria,
Mhm.
were you graced with the presence of international rap superstar Soulja Boy?
Oh, hell no. But let me tell you, first of all, these are a dime a dozen, the wannabes. And every country has their list of those who are up and coming stars in their countries. And they by no means equate to American talent. They'll never be American superstars, no matter how much they want to be, because they're top talent, they're mediocre talent everywhere else, and not through fault of their own, but largely because they don't have access to the resources, the sophisticated recording equipment, the voice coaching throughout their years to get them where American superstars, everything they have to go to reach their level of success. So it's not necessarily their fault. A good friend of mine is a bright young, he's like the number one rapper in Liberia. And I met him when I was there many years ago when we went with Akon for an event that we were doing. This is back when I was living in the Middle East. And, he's Christoph the Change. He has decidedly more talent, and he has performed all over America. He's been on a tour here and so forth than Soulja Boy. So he's just deliberately looking for an American who will help him get to, pull in New York Harbor and see the Statue of Liberty. That's what he wants.
Yeah. So Kim, oh, bless her
Kim,
heart.
God help her.
Bless
Oh
her
my.
heart. You live in the South.
Honest to God, I don't think they have condoms in a suitcase that they're going to use 100%.
Well, we see previews where she's saying like, why wouldn't you sleep with me? Well,
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. So they give us this package. I think this was in the second episode. They give us that package from Usman's point of view, where he says, while he's talking to Kim, he's also talking to this other woman. I forget her name, but he had to like end that because she got too jealous of Usman's female fans, which is like, he has a huge female fan base to be jealous about. But okay. So, and they showed her picture and she was gorgeous. She was hot. Like there's people like that look like that interested in Usman, but he's
100%
going,
there are, but
he's going after this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's great storyline, it's gonna keep people interested in watching the crazy, this special brand of crazy. You put Usman with a hot girl, there's no story in that, because that's what we all expect. No one's gonna really tune in to see that. They want to see beauty is only a light switch away coming together.
But he apparently won't sleep with her, and they're having separate hotel rooms. And I think
this is my shocked face.
Right. So I think this whole thing fell together with, she's talking about how much she like loves him and wants to see him. I don't know, whatever. And he was saying he's going to be in wherever they are. Where are they going? Tanzania?
They're going to Tanzania, to Zanzibar, which truly is like paradise. That's like the paradise of Africa.
Oh, nice.
The beaches in Zanzibar are gorgeous.
Nice. So he probably said, and then correct me if I'm wrong or if you disagree, but he probably said he's going to be there filming a video. And she says, "Ooh, I'm going to go. I'm going to meet you there." And she makes it sound like, "Oh, we're doing this like together," where he's probably like, "Well, okay, fine. Come if you want, I guess." Like, oh my God. So,
but what we all have to remember is they're getting compensated. So if
but TLC doesn't pay that much.
But well, let me tell you about Nigeria. You drive down the streets and there's kids selling a stick of gum out of a pack, because that's how they make money. And I mean, they don't have any money. It is so unfortunately poor. And we can't even wrap our heads around just how poor it is. So, whatever TLC's paying is a freaking fortune to
Right.
those
And
in
so,
Nigeria.
like, we know that when we're watching like regular 90 Day Fiance and the foreigner comes over to the United States,
Mhm.
for the time that they're in the United States, they don't get paid because they cannot legally work in the United States. But for before the 90 days, they're filming in their own country, so they can get paid. So I just want to clear that up. So they can get paid, and they do get paid, just not very much. I mean, maybe inflation has caught up a little bit, but I mean, we're talking like $1,000 an episode, maybe 2,000 if you're, somebody like Paul who brings in, entertainment. Or, us men is probably bringing in more since this is the second season and they know there's some entertainment value there. Although I know a lot of people who are just fast forwarding through this because we're so tired of seeing the repeat, couples that they, yeah. I want to tell you about how I'm still having a love affair with my Ember Wave. Ember Wave is the first wristband that helps you feel cooler or warmer at the press of a button. Ember Lab's mission is to bring thermal wellness to the world. They're passionate about using temperature to help every person feel better physically and emotionally. The concept of thermal wellness is a new way of thinking about temperatures, seeing temperature as a solution to a better you instead of a problem you simply have to live with. Now, with me, you guys know I have MS. I can't regulate my temperature very well, so the Ember Wave has been a godsend to me, especially right now as we're going into fall. But it's like one day it's really hot and the next day it's really cold and the temperature's all over the place. And so having the Ember Wave has been so great for me to help feel cooler or feel warmer if I need it with just the press of a button because I wear it on my wrist. So the Wave works by using thermal sensations to deliver a brand new category of safe, non-invasive, and natural solutions that leverage the body's response to temperature, helping people control their hot flashes, sleep better, and manage stressful moments and live more comfortably. You can try the Ember Wave risk-free for 30 days. Ember is offering our listeners $50 off. To get this limited time offer, go to embrwave.com/fraudcast and get the discount. It will be automatically applied at checkout. That's $50 off your order today. Go to embrwave.com/fraudcast. Did you know that 30 million women are impacted by weakened or thinning hair? If you are among them, know that you're not alone and that there is a solution that you can trust to deliver results. Thousands of women have taken back control of their hair with Nutrafol, with many users raving that the supplement not only transformed their hair, but restored their confidence too. Nutrafol offers 2 targeted formulas for women that are clinically shown to improve hair growth and thickness with less shedding through all stages of life. Healthier hair growth takes time. You'll begin to experience thicker, stronger, faster growing hair in 3 to 6 months. In a clinical study, 86% of women reported improved hair growth after 6 months. More than 1,500 top doctors recommended Nutrafol as an effective and high-quality solution for healthier hair. Nutrafol is physician formulated to be 100% drug-free. They use medical-grade botanicals in consistently effective dosages so that you get the most reliable results. You can visit Nutrafol.com and take their hair wellness quiz for personalized product recommendations that are unique to your needs. No matter what your stage in life is, Nutrafol has a solution. Personally, I'm using Women's Balance, which is formulated with additional hormone support for those ladies of a certain age with thinning hair through menopause. And Nutrafol's powerful ingredients bring your body back into balance. And you may also notice improvements to your overall well-being, including more restful sleep, less stress, and better skin, nails, and libido, which, come on, ladies. Support is always great there. You can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and entering the promo code FRAUDCAST to save $15 off your first month's subscription. This is their best offer anywhere, and it is only available to U.S. customers for a limited time. plus free shipping on every order. Get $15 off at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code Fraudcast. So we're 2 episodes in, and what do you predict? I want to hear what predictions we may have for Usman and Kim.
No way they're going anywhere near a bed. Not unless there's like a lot of alcohol and you put the straw directly in the bottle first. I mean, it's like crazy. I don't see that happen at all.
Right.
I think they'll drag this out for a while, but in the end, this is going to fizzle out and go nowhere.
Nice. Yeah, I would agree. I would tend to agree. Another couple. Let's see. I'll just go to them. I'm looking through like the cast list. We'll go with what I'm logged in today as Gino's hat. Now, Gino. Oh God,
Gino. God help me.
Oh, so
Gino.
Gino is the guy that never takes off his hat, and he has the serial killer laugh, and he has garbage can full of Marie Callender's boxes, or whatever it is. He reminds me, and I've posted this already, he reminds me of 401k Larry from when Larry and Jenny. And
see, no, you have to bear with me because
did you see that season?
A lot of these earlier seasons I was living in Dubai and I couldn't get, this wasn't televised over there.
Right.
So a lot of the earlier seasons I didn't see.
Oh, okay. So
I've seen the last 2 seasons. I'm tired of a lot of the characters that have been there. But
so as a refresher, 401k Larry is he's from Florida because of fucking course. He's
the one that cashed in his 401k, right?
Yeah, that's why I call him 401k Larry.
Yeah, see, I used to like follow you and what you were saying, and I had no idea who they were, but I it was almost more entertaining to watch the show through your eyes than to actually watch it.
Yeah, so he cashes 401k from his work at McDonald's, and went to go see Jenny that he met on Filipino Cupid. And he went over to the Philippines, and God bless her heart. And they set up this big picnic for him, like this big barbecue thing for him to celebrate, to welcome him. And they got a big, huge roast pig, lechon. I can never pronounce it right.
Yep.
And which I don't know about you, but it looked really good to me. But he wouldn't eat it because it would give him the diarrheas. That's what he says. Legit.
God,
that's what he says. I have a screen grab of it on my Instagram right now. And it was how rude he was, and all the stuff. Just as an update, Larry and Jenny are living in an RV in a 55 and up RV community
in Florida.
Yeah.
See, I still follow along.
So Gino reminds me a lot of Larry. Anyway, so Gino is 51 years old, and he is seeing what's her name? What's the name of I never remember her name. Jasmine. Stage 5 jealous rage.
Yep.
Like, that is not a normal situation.
If you were going to do like an adult rendition of what's the Disney movie with that Jasmine and the guy who flies on the carpet? Aladdin.
The guy who flies on the carpet.
If you were going to do like the adult version, she'd be the perfect Jasmine for that. Like the triple X,
Oh my God. You're casting her.
I want to keep saying King Arthur. What was the guy that flew on the car? Aladdin.
Jafar. King Jafar. No, that's Lion King. God, got me all
right, sorry. Movies. Anyway, I digress. Back to this train wreck.
Jasmine got this jealousy rage about her, where she makes him tell her where he's going, what he's doing, makes him FaceTime.
Oh yeah.
Won't let him talk to other girls. We see in previews him like be nice to the waitress and her getting all pissed off. What is so fascinating about this is, other than the fact that she's like batshit crazy, clearly, is I want to say, like, have you seen him? Have you seen what he looks like? Like the women aren't lining up to steal your
Oh, no.
man.
And when she asked to see his teeth and he busts out these like big yellow choppers, I'm like thinking that would be like, for me, that would be like end of game. I'm out. I just couldn't bring myself. There's no light switch in the world that would make me want to kiss that.
Yeah. He's got a mouthful situation too.
Yeah.
And his laugh, the laugh
God,
like a
the
serial
maniacal
killer.
laugh, I swear. It's like if you have like this fear of clowns or you have the fear of the basement like I did after watching The Shining in the 80s, put his laugh in it. If you put that in a modern day horror movie, that would be the like cult thing.
So you've now cast him in a horror movie and her in the porn version of Aladdin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. No, you're perfect fit for this podcast to replace Hanekawa for the week. The second episode of this of this couple has them meeting in she's in Panama, right? So has him going to Panama, and he has this gift for her, which he didn't wrap, but he did put a bow on, like one of the sticky bows, and gives her an electric toothbrush. Now, of course, this brought back memories of Ed giving Rose the toothbrush, but the difference in that scenario was he had already been with her, and the reason why he was giving it to her was because she had bad breath. According to Ed.
Yeah, and bad choice of gift in either scenario,
right?
But at least there was a basis for it when Big Ed did it. This one is just, are you fucking kidding me, dude? You don't give a woman a toothbrush,
an electric toothbrush.
Are you kidding me?
I've not been to Panama. It is a third world country, but do you think
Panama City is pretty sophisticated city? It's not.
So they're going to have electric toothbrushes.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
This is where this like white knight American, whatever it's called, right? Where the American thinks that they're like the savior, right? And then no other country compares to America. So he even said, I'm giving her this because they probably don't have them in Panama.
She can walk down to the corner store and buy her pregnancy test and her electric toothbrush.
And pregnancy test
reminded me about it.
Of Paul and Karini when he forced her to take a STD and pregnancy test before he would sleep with her. What's interesting about that too is, who brings him out before anything's even hey, I have pregnancy test. Like, had they discussed this? Clearly not, because she's on birth control, which is her secret. She's not telling him. So this has like all the promise of just being this massive dumpster fire that's going to explode on screen. And I cannot wait. I'm here for it.
It's going to be good. I mean, if he survives, because she's going to break him and he's going to have, like 8 hours of staying power. So I honestly,
he has all that fake Viagra.
I honestly don't see Gino with his Marie Callender body being able to hang with Jasmine. I mean,
now, do you think he's the guy who wants her to step on his balls with her stiletto?
I don't know that he's sophisticated enough to get that deep into the world of crazy weird fetishes. I think if he's got them, they're just like really ultra normal, like like having sex in something other than missionary, position. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. And
I mean, I think his world would be rocked if he found a woman who could start a Harley. That would be all he would need for the rest of his life.
I think his world would be rocked if he could find a woman.
Yeah, clearly.
And a sentence there. What do you think she sees in him?
America. No, actually, no. And that's the typical answer that everyone would say. But Panama, I mean,
I don't see that with her. I mean, maybe she does want a green card, but
I think well, we don't know what her circumstances are because we don't go that deep into, what does she do? Where does she live? What does her house look like? What are
We
her
know she has
financial
2 kids that
circumstances?
are not
But they're
living with
not
her.
with her.
She's like the
No.
Larissa of this season.
Not this Larissa, the other
No,
Larissa.
your father, Larissa. I'm talking about Colty's
Father
Larissa.
But she gets everything that she wants out of him. I mean, she can milk him for anything because all she's going to have to do is threaten to step away from him, and he will make the sun rise and set to give her whatever it is that she wants.
True. He has given her a lot of money. He seems to have a decent amount of money.
But she knows that.
Right. And he's giving it to her for her lips and all her things, which, go her, right?
Yep.
I ain't gonna drag her for that. You know who I am gonna drag though? What's her name? Memphis.
Oh God, Memphis.
Memphis is the girl who on paper you would think is smart because she's a nurse practitioner, so she's obviously book smart. She's got 2 kids, one from like a long time ago relationship. The kid's older, and then one from like a marriage. I think she was married to the dad, and she's got a good co-parenting relationship with him. Apparently he's got the kids while she's going off to Tunisia. Is that where she's going?
She's going to Tunisia.
And so she keeps talking about wanting a new father figure for her kids, which is where I go off the rails with her because she's probably already got her kids calling this dude daddy. She's never met this guy. She's already planning on marrying him the second week that she's there.
Oh my God. This is the biggest train wreck of the season coming right here.
What I want from you, having lived in the Middle East as long as you have, Muslim countries, he's obviously Muslim country, all of that stuff. So I forget his name.
Hamza.
Okay. And she like FaceTimes him or whatever while she's like in the shower and everything.
Yeah,
so she's
there's
showing
a big non-starter. That's not going anywhere. I mean, he is never going to marry that. His family would never allow him to marry that.
So there's the men who, despite being Muslim, they break all these Muslim tenets, right?
Yeah,
they drink, have sex, and they do all this stuff, but they're not going to marry that girl.
No way.
They're going to do that with other girls, and then they're going to marry the pure girl because
absolutely
that's how they roll over there.
Yep. Absolutely.
And of course, not all men. Don't come at me with not all men, guys.
No. I mean, it's like anything. So it's gross generalizations here, and we're making these statements knowing that it's not everybody, but there are an awful lot of them there. And she has not taken any time to even get to know what kind of a culture she would be marrying into. She has no clue.
Right.
None.
Right. You can tell by the way she talks about it.
She thinks she's going to get a hot husband from overseas, and that it's just going to be, she's going to have the house, the picket fence, a dad for her kids, and it's going to be a normal life. She has no idea what marrying, a traditional Arab Muslim is going to be like. And it's not going to be this typical American marriage like I think she's expecting to get out of this at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think it's important to know when we talk about like typical Muslim Arab Muslim men, we're talking about like, yes, they do these things. They're not supposed to drink alcohol. They're not supposed to have premarital sex. They're not supposed to do these things, but they do.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go on to marry women who have not engaged in those things.
Absolutely.
They go on to the traditional marriage. So clearly he's not following a lot of it.
If they marry outside of their culture, it's not the first wife. In Muslim men can have up to 4 wives.
Up to 4. Interesting.
Yes. And usually the first wife is the one, I mean, that's more or less usually an arranged marriage, or they know who it is from within the community, the culture, sometimes within the family when you're looking at the royal families. And I mean, I'm not meaning like, your brother, it's well removed, but they know pretty much who the first wife will be. And it's not going to be a ditzy American, from, well, her name's Memphis. She doesn't live in Memphis. Where does she live? I don't even know. But anyway,
Michigan. She's in Michigan.
It's just, this isn't going to happen this way. And I mean, it's interesting TV, and people are going to get to see a real clash of cultures here, which happens every single season, that they mix a vulnerable, clueless American woman and somebody from the Middle East.
Which we have every season.
The guy from Qatar who was the
Aladdin and Laura.
Trainer. Aladdin. God, how could I forget that? And then we had a Tunisian before.
Muhammad and Danielle.
Yep. And wasn't there another one?
Rebecca and Zied, who are happily married in Georgia right now. So,
yeah,
I mean, that seems to have worked out so far. But of course, it's still less than 2 years.
But that was one of the more realistic of all the couples ever on these before the 90-day seasons. I mean, they had their challenges, and when they do the editing, they pick out the most contentious or the most, dramatic of the scenes to show everybody. Mm-hmm. But overall, they had the most normal relationship,
they work, seem to have a genuine connection. Yeah.
Yeah. And they worked through the things that they haven't told each other yet and so forth. And there were the ups and downs and so forth. But overall, they were like one of the more normal couples.
Yeah,
They weren't the circus monkeys and the trapeze and everything else.
Like Laura and Aladdin. And
absolutely.
Laura and her purple friend vibrator.
Oh, God help me.
And
there was another example of how you don't understand that culture, because that is just absolutely not accepted. And,
it's not acceptable that he wouldn't be pleasing her. Like, it's not about pleasing her, right? It's about him.
And then sex is completely different too, because there are certain things that we consider like normal part of having sex here in America, and men would never engage in that over there with a woman because it's considered haram.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. They won't go down on a woman. Yeah. They won't eat her out. Yeah. Oh yeah. We can say that on here. It's fine. They don't eat pussy over there. As a general rule.
Yeah.
I mean, allegedly. Not that I haven't done the field work or anything, but
oh, that's another show for another night.
Anyway, so and then they showed part of her backstory, this girl Memphis, and her backstory. And she had been in 11 foster homes in her teenage years. Like, she had a rough childhood. She's now she and her mom are like friends now. I guess her mom's sober now, but mom had some issues and all of this stuff. So, I mean, she had a rough go of it. And it seems clear to me, with my, psychology PhD from Google University, and that she's seeking this validation, and she's got daddy issues, and she wants validation from a man, and she wants this perfect family that she didn't have, like this stable. She wants stability. No wonder she's like, oh yeah, he texts me back every day. Like, that's her standard. Like, that should be the bare minimum.
But the sad part of this is that we will all come down hard on her and say, oh my gosh, it's like when women are abused, we say, I would never allow a man to do that to me. Mm-hmm. And then you're in a relationship and you love the person and you're a strong woman. And the next thing you know, you're allowing things to happen. And then you're hiding it from the outside that this is even happening. So this happens a lot. Women will put on that grand facade that we all, we're so strong and we're so together. Mm-hmm. yet we allow this stuff, or the lack of self-confidence will let us accept things in a relationship that,
Right.
we say, the hypocrisy of it, we say we'd never allow, and yet we do. So
We
there's
do,
a
yeah.
lot of women like Memphis out there who would be over the moon for a man to be giving them as much attention as Hamza gives her. Because we
Right,
don't
right,
think we
absolutely.
deserve more.
And I've absolutely been there. And I feel for her on that. It's like,
Yep.
but you can tell from these first 2 episodes that it seems like that's what she's looking for, the stability and the attention. And it's sad because
Never
that
ends
should be the
well.
bare minimum, not
Oh,
what
absolutely.
causes you to fly to Tunisia and marry this guy.
And this isn't going to end well.
No,
It's
she's going to
definitely
get
not
over
going to end in
there.
marriage.
The lust is going to, the shiny lust is going to wear off, and then the real personalities are going to come out, and it's not going to match. And it's, sure, when you're on. So when I read something, or I watched on TV, or I went down like a YouTube rabbit hole or something, and it was talking about, somebody who has an actual PhD was talking about how there's that, that big beginning part of a relationship where everything's shiny and new, and the honeymoon phase, blah 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 blah, and all these hormones and stuff. And in long distance relationships, that period is really elongated. So these people be like, oh, I've been talking to them for 2 years. Well, yeah, but that's 2 years in long distance relationship stuff, and not so it does last longer than that would have worn off in not long distance relationship, a lot sooner. So when that stuff when all the shiny new stuff, less stuff goes away, and he's not giving her the attention that she wants every day, and he's not the stable guy that she wants, and she's going to get her heart broken again, and it's just going to be a mess.
And she has no idea, because there's no public displays of affection, as you know. You don't hold hands in public, you don't kiss in public. There's not, and it's not like conditioned to be an oh baby, oh sweetheart sort of culture. That's just not the way men and women interact over there. So she's going to be coming home with her heart broken. There's no question about it. And
I know.
And it's not his fault. It's hers, because she does not know. She's never put, I don't think, any effort into learning what this culture is, because everything she says when she's interviewed, she's totally clueless.
So I just got married, and I'm married into a large, close Italian family. Lots of relatives, lots of cousins and aunts and uncles and grandparents, and a lot of people in this family. And I don't know anything about them or their stories. So that's why I'm really excited that this holiday season, I get to give a gift to these loved ones that makes them feel special and unique, just like the relationship that we share. That's why I'm giving everyone I care about Storyworth. Storyworth is an online service that helps you and your loved ones preserve precious memories and stories for years to come. It is a thoughtful and meaningful gift that connects you with those who matter most. Every week, Storyworth will email your relative or friend a thought-provoking question of your choice from their vast pool of possible options. Each unique prompt asks questions you've never thought to ask, like, what's the bravest thing you've ever done in your life? Or, if you could see into the future, what would you want to find out? After 1 year, Storyworth will compile all of your loved ones' stories, including photos, into a beautiful keepsake book that you'll be able to share and revisit for generations to come. Reading the weekly stories helps connect you with your loved ones, no matter how near or far apart you are. So I'm excited to learn all of these stories about all of these new members of my family. With Storyworth, I'm giving those I love most a thoughtful, personal gift from the heart and preserving their memories and stories for years to come. Go to storyworth.com/fraudcast and save $10 on your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/fraudcast to save $10 on your first purchase. It's time to get real about mental health, you guys. We're coming out of the pandemic and things are open and people are going back to work, and this is bringing on a whole new set of stressors and anxiety and all kinds of issues for me personally. I am really grateful to have access to our sponsor, BetterHelp.com. BetterHelp is professional counseling done securely online. You get timely and thoughtful responses, plus you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions, all without ever having to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room, especially since for me, physically going to a brick and mortar place is part of the anxiety inducing for me. So being able to talk online through your phone or your computer is really fantastic. It's more affordable than traditional office counseling, and financial aid is also available. The service is available for clients worldwide, and you can find the particular expertise you need online. You don't have to be limited to just those people who are close to you. The licensed professional counselors at BetterHelp.com, they specialize in depression, stress, anxiety, relationship, sleeping, trauma, anger, LGBTQ matters, grief, self-esteem, and so much more. Anything you share is confidential, it's convenient, professional, and affordable. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. I want you to start living a happier life today. As a listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/fraudcast. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/fraudcast. Oh God. Okay. Caleb and Alina. Now this is the couple. This is Alina, who's the little person in Russia. And Caleb is the guy who had a bonfire in his living room. Reads tarot cards, drinks a lot of protein shakes with his long hair and his beanie. And I feel like I could smell the beanie hair grease, like sweat through the TV, because he never washes that shit. They have been friends online for 15 years and they took it romantic like over the last couple of years. They're going to meet in Turkey. Now, stop me if you've heard this before, but a girl from Russia named Alina going to Turkey to meet this dude. Tell me where you've heard this before.
Equally as weird as the other dude, by the way. I mean, they're probably going to meet at cafes to compare their with cats, of course. They'll have cats there with them,
right?
I'm sure. Right.
Now, I think I want to say a lot of this has got to be on production, right? This is just like, oh, we're going to have them do this and say this, because when Alina checks into the hotel, it's not ADA compliant because they don't have ADA over there, right? And she has to go upstairs. There's no elevator. It's not like very good, it's not a very accessible room for her and her needs. And so she says, oh, she's mad at Caleb because he didn't, think about her and stuff. Now, there's a lot of discussion that transpired in my Instagram about this. Like, she should, like, people all going, she should advocate for her needs, and him saying, no, he should ask. If they've been friends for 13 years, don't you think it would have come up at some point that he would have some kind of knowledge about what her needs are and not go completely off the rails?
See, I think this goes back to that, how much the connecting via the internet and technology, you think you know somebody, but you don't know somebody until you're actually there. And,
right.
He's never been in a situation where he's actually lived with someone with a disability. So in his mind, he doesn't even know how to conceptualize this. What does a person like her need? I think he just sees her as a little person.
A novel. I think he sees her as a novelty.
Completely. This is where I think his sexual fetishes come into play here an awful lot. But, I don't think he has any real clue as to what her disabilities are and how much care she needs. And, we've seen in the previews where he's shocked at just how little she is. And, I mean, I totally don't think he has the emotional intelligence to really be able to grasp what he's about to get himself into.
Agree. And I think that there's a lot of people out there who are like, Alina must be protected at all costs because we like Alina and we think he's just.
Well, and think of it from Alina's point of view. You're about to meet somebody that you like. You're hoping that it'll lead to a relationship. You're not going to sit him down on the computer and say, oh, wait, I've got this need and this problem and I can't do this. And in this situation, this is a challenge, because the longer that list goes, the more he has the potential of backing off. And she's
But
hoping
it should happen. Like if you're at
it
the
does
point,
have to happen. Absolutely. But
if
how
you're
often,
at the point where you're like, this is the love of my life and I want to marry this person, those are the conversations that you've already had.
well, you see, in some ways, yes, and in some ways, no. So I think a lot of women would be like, okay, I'm going to wait until we're together. Maybe he'll be so enamored with me that then we can gradually start having some of these conversations. But if I put it all out there on the table, he may say, oh, God, I don't know what I'm getting myself into. I'm going to pull back on this,
Well, then
So
he's not the person for you.
here. For sure. But when you're a woman that, maybe has a struggle to find a long-term relationship or somebody that would find you attractive or a partner for them for the long haul, that's what you dream of having. And when you struggle to find that, it goes back to what I said before. You will overlook a lot of the things that you should be doing and should be saying in order to potentially make that relationship happen, because you want that so badly.
The fantasy that you've contrived in your head.
We do that to ourselves. We put that fantasy in our mind and we'll accept a lot of behaviors in men that we shouldn't. We'll overlook of a lot of behaviors.
We've been there, done that. Yeah.
100%. We all have. We'll think that they'll change, and we don't want to put it all out there, because my God, what happens if this man that I'm so in love with, decides to walk away? I'll be heartbroken. So we put up with an awful lot more than we should.
This is true. Is this why you don't tell the men you're dating about your best friend? Because you don't want them to run screaming when they find out about me?
Yeah, well, we're a package deal.
That all said, I mean, yes, God, and it breaks my heart. And I say this about,
I feel for her because of that.
Yeah,
because I can relate to that.
Absolutely. And, I say this like about Darcy all the time, because Darcy is always like, and with all the plastic surgery she's undergoing, and all these things, she's trying to get her validation from men. She's got brother issues. She's got daddy issues. I think she's got a substance abuse disorder. And she reminds me of me before I got sober, in the kinds of relationships that she's in and why she's in these relationships.
I can attest to that. 100%. No, seriously. And I don't even mean, I can totally attest to that, because, we did go through that period of time, way back. And I feel sorry for her for that reason, because she's so miserable.
Right.
You can have only so many Louis Vuitton and Chanel bags and
fake
Christian Louboutin and, shoes, for sure. You can only try and use retail therapy to cover the pain points, only so much. And eventually, I mean, she's miserable. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah. You get this nipped and that tucked, and, there's only so much you can nip and tuck when you're 5'1", and, and it's just,
but I mean, imagine that for Alina, because it's even that much more compounded. And when he said, oh, I'll pick you up and
carry
she's
you,
like, well, I don't usually let people carry me, but okay, I'll let you. And it's because, and there, right there is a classic example of the behavior of how we will let men do things to us out of fear of not losing them. But it's something we wouldn't normally tolerate, or we would sit at a table with our girlfriends and say, I'd never let somebody do that to me. But, in our own private relationship, we would, be out of the fear or the lack of self-esteem we have. And so I feel sorry for her. And I think she's about to get a really raw deal with Caleb's visit. I
just hope that she sees her self-worth. and doesn't wrap it up in him and understands that, like, and doesn't put up with it the way that like you and I have put up with this stuff in the past, and the things that I'm sure, everybody, I don't want to overgeneralize here, but we've all been there, right? I mean, I can say for 100% fact that you and I both have been there. And like I wasn't strong enough to say this isn't acceptable to me. I feel like I am now, when I met had a husband life mate. I told him
you would say it back then. No, you would say it. But then when it came down to actually having to walk the walk, you couldn't do it. Like you would be like, I am never texting this asshole back again. He treats me horribly. He shows me no respect. You'd list all the things he's done that I would be like, you go, sister, you're not letting him back in your life. And then you would, have the drunk texting, where you'd send him a message and he wouldn't reply back. And then you're firing the 30 messages to him to try and figure out what, and
what did I do?
Yeah. And I think that a lot of women can relate to that.
Yeah.
At some point in our lives, I think every single one of us can.
Right. Right.
And I think poor Alina is kind of struggling with that that desire to have a partner, somebody that's going to love you and be there for you. And you start to discount your worth and you start to backstep on your standards that that you should have because you have that fantasy in your mind that you want to live.
Yeah. And I think Caleb is probably really good at telling her what she wants to hear.
Oh,
yeah. Like, I think, totally. I don't think that she's making up a relationship out of nothing the way like Kim is with us men. I think he has most definitely engaged in that behavior that would lead her to believe that they are in this series. And he probably he probably even believes it himself. But like you said, it doesn't have the emotional, quotient.
But look, I think when he gets there and sees her, if he's not prepared for everything that comes with her in the package, psychologically, he's going to shut off right then and there. I mean, how many times have we been in sort of an online situation where we've got the image in our heads of what it's going to be like when we actually meet face to face and it's going to be this great love. And then you show up at the restaurant and he's got like weird teeth or he's
weird shoes or weird socks.
You think he's going to be 6 foot and he's 5'4", or just something that psychologically makes your mind turn off. And it's almost disappointing because you had this person built up so much and they don't meet your expectations. And then you physically just shut down. I mean, your body won't perform,
I feel like that is the entire like premise of Before the 90 Days. And it might be why Before the 90 Days is always so like fascinating to me and so entertaining to me is because, you and I both have been in online long distance relationships, right? Hell, Baby Frauded's dad was that way. Like we met online before the days of online or whatever. We've been in those relationships and to see that play out, like this interesting, fascinating psychological response that happens. It's, and then there's the sunk cost fallacy, right? Where they've already spent all this time, and effort into this relationship that they've been building for maybe 2 years, that even though it's not right in person, they're still going to hang on because they've already it's like throwing bad money after good, right?
But look, in previous seasons, you had people that were actually quasi-normal, where you actually found yourself rooting for some of them and you wanted to see some of them work and you knew they'd make it to the finish line. But now it's almost like the shock factor and, they mismatch deliberately to create this drama and, to have this storyline that is, contentious or, where women take more than they should, or men are falling for women who have no intention of being the genuine partner that this man is looking for. And it happens both ways. It's not necessarily just always women or always men. They do this, they misbalance these couples to deliberately create these storylines. And They didn't do that in past seasons. So you don't, at least I don't have that attachment to a couple where I say, I'm really rooting for them. I want to see them succeed forever. We just watch it now for the sheer, the humor of it or the ridiculousn's of it. There's not really.
We see this somewhat. We didn't talk about this couple yet, but Minion Mike, the guy who plays.
I like him so much.
Yeah. So before he came on the screen, like I had gotten a little glimpse into him because I have a source that is friends with him and lives in his town and is friends with him. Gotten to see some of his Facebook posts, and he was posting how he went through like a DUI checkpoint or something where the cop was like, "Oh, you're on that 90-day show." It hadn't even aired yet. No, that didn't happen. And we also saw a picture that was a tattoo from her that said Mike on her wrist, and it's from her posting on his Facebook. So we know something works out at least between them. But so going into the show, it was Minion Mike. Oh my God, this guy's a dork. But then seeing him, I think I'm totally on your on your wavelength with it. Because I like it. It turns out I actually really like the guy, and he's going to get his heart stomped into a million pieces.
100%. I see it coming. And I do like him. And I mean, I know that it's kind of a weird situation, him living with his dad and his grandfather.
Yeah, I don't see that as weird at all.
I've got my parents living with me because they're older and, and I know what that's like. And I know what the burnout is like. And, how your life gets put on hold because, you can't obviously have a normal life when you're taking care of parents too.
Right.
But so I feel for him, and I do hope he can find somebody because he's just that kind of guy that would be that phenomenal husband, that he would do everything he could to live up to his vows.
Yeah, I feel that same way. And I don't see like him living with his dad and his grandpa and stuff. Like I don't see that as problematic. Like they need caregiving. He's being that guy. I think that's great. It's admirable. Like you said, it takes a lot out of you. And he's fallen for this girl. And I don't even remember her name, but
I can't. How do you pronounce her name? Because
Jimena. It's Jimena.
Oh, Jimena. See, I look at it and I'm thinking, I'm calling her eczema.
Eczema. That's awful. But she's the one who in the previews says that his farts turn her off, which, I mean, same girl. I mean,
well, first of all, I don't know any woman that is like, oh my God, I'm in love because he farts every night. Come on. But I mean, shit, everybody.
Yes, literally shit.
Exactly.
It happens. I mean, like, is he doing it?
I mean, Alina is going to be the one to have to deal with that more than anybody else with all that freaking protein powder.
I know. Oh my God. Oh, and she's right.
Maybe Mike and Alina need to find each other.
You know what? That would be, I do like to do like the fantasy matchmaking, mixing the couples. I think that would be a good match. Because he seems genuine. She seems genuine. He wouldn't think to like, oh, let me pick you up and carry you. Like,
no. They would have that emotional connection. That, where it's not all about physical,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, and then there's a couple we haven't seen yet. Two couples we haven't seen yet. There's Ben, who's like the Christian guy, who some people say is going to get catfished. Because I don't even remember who he's supposed to be meeting.
Somebody, because the names are so ridiculous. I mean, Mahogany.
Oh, that's right. And then we have the girl who has the Asian fetish.
The heavyset girl who is Johnny and see, we haven't seen much of them. So what's her name? Elena or Ella? Ella.
We did it again. Verizon was just named America's most reliable network by Root Metrics for the 16th time in a row, proving once again that nobody builds networks like Verizon builds networks. That's why we're building 5G right. That's why there's only one best network. Verizon. best and most reliable based on root metrics reports from second half 2013 to first half 2021 of 3 operators on all network types combined, not specific to 5G networks.
Ella.
Oh, wow.
It's Ella and Johnny. See, look, this is like my second season. This is even my day job. And I'm the one that's remembering this.
Oh, yeah. I
don't know anything about that storyline except she's got an Asian fetish and Ben is like a pastor or somehow connected to God in an extraordinary
somehow
way.
Connected to God.
I mean, you know.
Did you tell that to the Pope when you went and saw him at the Vatican, when you were invited to the Vatican? This girl right here on this call spoke at the Vatican. And listen to her right now, you guys.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I have no idea. Like,
I'm only doing this because I love you so much.
Well, and I needed a co-host. And who did I immediately think of who messages me during the show going, oh my God.
I have so many WTF moments because of the show. And this show is like what cleanses my palate, you know, because I have such intense business all day long that, you know, I can watch this and it's like mindless.
Yep. Same.
But I just want a couple that I can genuinely, legitimately root for. And I don't have any that happening. It's all the shock factor. It's all the drama. It's all, you know, how can we pull in ratings by matching the mismatched? And there's nobody. And I really want to get back
mismatched couples. Yeah.
Well, and I really would love to get back to a season where you actually have plausible, we could see this going to the finish line. You know, we could see a 90-day wedding at the end of this.
Right.
And
an
I
actual legitimate, like
100%
proposal.
I see gold diggers. I see fetishes. I see, you know, people who are looking for love in all the wrong places. I just don't see anything that I can really, anyone that I can say, you know, if I was Pillow Talk, I don't see anybody that I'd be like, look, I'm rooting for them. Come on, you guys, you got this.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Now it's entertaining as hell to watch so far. But it's almost, I can see where things are going to get infuriating because they're already starting that, like on that level. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
it's almost like they're making an asset class out of desperate individuals, desperate women, desperate men. You know, they're making a hell of a lot of money off of the desperation of others.
Oh, for sure.
And at some point at the end of the day, I just really want to root for somebody, you know? I mean, if I don't have the great love in my life, I want to see somebody else getting it, you know? And not like, you know, like Caleb hopes to get it or Gino, but
God,
poor broken Gino. We don't know how he's going to make it through his first night yet, but
oh God, she's going to break him in half. She's literally going to
she's going to spend 3 hours going through everything on his phone and he's going to fall asleep and be snoring next to her. That's how I see the first night going. Right. She isn't opening any doors for him until she's comfortable that there's nothing in his phone that she has to be pissed about.
Right. And she'll get pissed off if he's too nice to the waitstaff, which is interesting because the thing I have always heard was watch how they treat the waitstaff because that's how they're going to end up treating you. And that was it. It was that exact scenario. I ended up getting into a huge fight with Big about because he was being an asshole.
Oh, I totally remember that.
He was being an asshole. And this is another example of putting up with stuff we shouldn't. He was being an asshole.
Is one of the men that, you know, to give everybody some
context. Yeah.
One of the men from your past life, you know, one of those that he's the one that if he would, you know, when you were drunk, you would text him. And if he didn't respond back to you in a happy hot second, you were like losing your mind and sending him like 50 text messages.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, and he was it was completely one of those relationships where you talked yourself into forgiving everything that you wouldn't have tolerated in a normal situation.
Right.
So we can all relate to that. I'm totally serious. Even I can relate to that. And yet I hate to see them turning this into something that is so mainstream that it's okay for girls
It's acceptable
to put up with this.
Yeah.
Because it's not. And I also have a problem with the fact that they make every Latina woman look like she's batshit crazy because that's all they put on the show.
That's true.
And then they put all the Arab and Muslim men on here in a certain category as well. And you know that, I mean, some of my dearest friends, like Suhail, which you and I met together, and he's still such a close friend of mine. You know, there are such
he's nothing like what is being portrayed.
And most of them aren't. But they look for the extreme cases and then start to try to match them so they can create this drama on
But
TV.
TLC doesn't match them. So they match themselves and TLC finds them, picks them out of there.
TLC is picking them.
Yeah.
And I am so sure that there are some normal couples out there that are writing to TLC saying, hey, we'd like you to focus on our relationship. And TLC is going to be like, hey, no, that's, you know,
Matt Sharp is like, nope.
Yeah, no way. No way. You throw in some, you know, I would have, never mind. No, I'm not going to say it. But you throw in some, you know, trapezes and circus monkeys and, you know, and.
Sounds like a good time.
Absolutely. So anyway.
Yeah, well, Matt Sharp is also doing shows like, instead not just like his Love After Lockup wasn't enough for him. He's doing Love During Lockup now. So, which is, you know, that's a Matt Sharp production along with 90 Day. Briefly, I want to touch on something before we wrap this up here is I received a blind item today from someone that talked about how there was one season, and it had to have been before the 90 days, where this guy goes to the other country and treats the other woman in such a way that threw up so many red flags that they should have, you know, known that their vetting process wasn't the best at that point. That guy later went on to murder her. So TLC had to scrub them from existence, but apparently they appeared in one trailer somewhere. Now, I get this blind item. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, based on the circumstances, like they say that the guy went to this other country. I'm like, okay, well, that had to have been before the 90 days because the other way wasn't out yet. And I reached out to one of my sources that would have reason to know. And they said, yes, they had heard about it. They knew that they'd heard about the circumstances, didn't have a lot of details for me yet, but hopefully I will be able to get them.
I'm curious what country it is.
Yeah, what country it is. And then there was a possibility that the guy ended up on, and this is maybe familiar. The guy ended up on like Dr. Phil or something. Might have been one of the like jailhouse interviews, but if he murdered the person in the other country, then he wouldn't be in an American jail, right? He would have been in whatever country that is. So anyway.
See, and that's the concern you always have when you've got somebody coming in from another country. You know, you can't, I mean, the internet protects you from being truly honest. I mean, you never know somebody until you're actually with them. So for everybody that throws up these comments about the people who bring quote unquote chaperones with them, you know, God, I mean, I'd be worried if somebody didn't.
Yeah. Alina's smart for bringing a chaperone with her.
Heck yeah.
Her best friend, who we can't decide if he's just the good best friend or if he's the one like pining for her and not getting it reciprocated.
He seems a bit sadly jealous when she refers to not needing him or not wanting him around, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there's a whole lot more yet to come and learn in all of these relationships. And we haven't even scratched the tip of the iceberg yet.
I know we have not. And I'm looking forward to more. And I think that's all we got for you guys. If I get more updated info on that blind item, I will absolutely keep you guys updated. I probably will be going live on Instagram maybe Christmas night, but probably after the show on Sunday. So we can talk about all of the shenanigans then. I want to give a big thank you to Father Larisa for joining me at the last minute when Hanekawa's voice went out. Let's all give a big round of applause to Father Larisa, who
Bless you, my child.
who has probably spent more time outside of this country than she has in. And your expertise on these countries is fascinating, and we didn't get into nearly any of what you would have to tell us about some of these countries. And I just, I may call you back at some point. So thank you guys.
I love you tons. I'll always be here. I'll tune in on Sunday after the show on Instagram. And
awesome. We'll talk about it then. So thank you guys for tuning in. Wish you Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Merry Kwanzaa, all of the things, joy to all of you. And we are the Fraudcast, and we're dumpster diving so you don't have to.